their state's rights. They feel that they are no longer represented and protected by the federal government, so they can separate and create their own nation. This is something they have been saying since the beginning, really, when we've had problems between the North and the South. Okay? Do we hear that argument anymore? Does the state ever really come out and say, I don't like that law, I'm going to leave the country? No. Okay? That idea died in the Civil War. But what is the Union fighting for? Okay, if you ask the Union soldiers, they would never say they were fighting to free the slaves. Nobody would ever say that. So what are they fighting for? To save the country, to keep the Union together. Okay? So it's a lot more complicated than just saying slavery causes the Civil War. Okay? Moral issues on slavery definitely involved. Okay? But our last two we're going to see, it has more to do with different theories and different ideas. Our country really the whole time was developing almost completely separately. And it's going to finally come to head in the Civil War.
Here should be right with states' rights and
so today we're just going to start off with the first one. Okay? The last of our political compromises over slavery. This is the last time the South is going to get their way, and this is the last time we really have a political compromise. They've also run out of land after this compromise. Okay? They've pretty much decided what's going to happen to the rest of the country. Okay? We've already talked about the Missouri Compromise, okay, which gives problems even during the era of good feeling. We talked about the Compromise of 1850, which is going to harm the Whig Party. And finally, the Kansas-Nebraska Act. So, Nebraska had to be organized, right, which is this territory right here. So, according to which compromise, or which compromise relates to that area? Missouri. Okay, and according to the Missouri Compromise, should it be free or slave? Free. Okay? So what happened was they wanted to build a railroad through this territory. In order to do that, in order to get federal funding, they had to be officially organized as a territory. But even more so, just like before, more people were moving into that area. They needed an official government. They needed to officially be a territory. So they submit, they basically ask Congress to be formally organized, and they're supposed to come in as free. So the bill that's submitted would submit them as a free territory, as per the Missouri Compromise. Right? It was supposed to be solved and done. It gets to the House, right, which is controlled by the North, but as soon as it gets to the Senate, it's blocked. Okay? Why would they block it again? Right? It's the same issue. Even though they had agreed to this compromise back in 1820, it would upset that balance between free and slave. And after this, there's no more land that they can possibly gain unless people in like New Mexico vote to have slavery. The other problem is Missouri, which is a slave state, would be surrounded on three sides by free states. Why is that an issue?
trees. Oh, and escaping.
Right, fugitives. They can run away and go to any of these three states, and it would be very easy for them to escape. So the Senate devolves into our normal fistfights and arguments and anger. But we have a new person in charge. Okay, remember Calhoun's gone, Clay is gone, so we have our new generation of people. Okay, so Stephen Douglas is in charge of the Senate, and he comes up with a compromise, okay, the Kansas-Nebraska Act. It's actually very much pro-Southern, and we're going to talk about the reasons why. So number one, it repeals the Missouri Compromise, right? Otherwise, that area would automatically have been free. He's the pro-Southern. He's like the person who's short. So they're going to divide the territory into two. Nebraska is going to be that big chunk up there, and Kansas, which is really that formal territory where people are moving, is going to, they're both going to be why did Douglas do it, right? It's clearly a very pro-Southern compromise, and a repeal of the previous compromise that was supposed to have fixed this problem. So some historians argue that it was because he wanted Southern support in the next election. He had a blossoming political career, he wanted to run. Why is that most likely not the reason? Yeah.
I'll just make the Northern Republican.
Good. And where are there more people? Nowhere. Okay. A second reason, which could have kind of influenced him, was that the railroad would go through Illinois, and he had a lot of property in Chicago, so it would have boosted his property value. Still, his political ambitions are too much to stick to that idea. So really, the two reasons that he does it have to do with his beliefs. Stephen Douglas it's easy to remember his beliefs because unlike a lot of other politicians, he sticks to them completely. Right? He even winds up leaving his own political party because he sticks to the two ideas that he agrees with, which are, number one, his belief in manifest destiny. Right? He felt that if Kansas and Nebraska could not organize, we would not be able to fulfill this idea and move all the way out west. But most importantly, what does he support? So his support for popular sovereignty is ideas that we are a democracy. Okay? People should be able to vote on whether or not they want to have slaves in their territory. He tells the North that there's no slaves that are living out there anyway. All the people who have moved out there, they don't really want slaves. So when they go to vote, you're going to get what you want anyway. That argument is convincing enough that he's able to get it passed through Congress. Okay? You can see in the House, right, numbers are pretty close, but in the Senate, it's pretty much overwhelmingly passed. So the results of this, it reopened territory to slavery. Now, remember, all of that land was supposed to be closed. It was supposed to automatically be closed. It's going to destroy the Whig Party, and it's also going to divide the Democrats. And it's going to lead to a lot of violent conflict. Okay? It leads to a civil war called Looting Kansas. And it leads to a full-on brawl in the Senate floor between Sumners and Brooks. And we're going to return to Brooks later on.
Why did he do
We're going to get there.
So in these sessions when they're compromising everything, is this just like people screaming at each other like, no, I want slavery?
So a lot of times it would devolve into that, and they would literally have to go on a break. Somebody like Stephen Douglas would write out a compromise, and when they came back and were all cooled off, then they could get through it.
Yeah.
So just very briefly, in the last couple of minutes, we're going to just
Someone looked at it.
Brooks Sumner. So again, this is the last compromise. So the last thing we have to really look at with this is why this was destroyed. Why after this point they were no longer able to have another compromise. First of all, is the northern fear of slave power grows throughout this time period. They become more and more convinced that these plantation owners are out to get them. Okay, when popular sovereignty actually occurs, just in general, the bad manners, the unruly behavior, and all of the conflicts in Congress. Popular sovereignty in Kansas again, and finally a Supreme Court decision. So that compromise that we just went over was passed in 1854. That means within 3 years, by 1857, they're no longer willing to compromise at all. So the fear of slave power is really the first issue. And again, this grows throughout the time period. An example is Lincoln. So Lincoln was an anti-slavery Whig who gets back into politics because of the Kansas-Nebraska Act. And he says Southerners have a constitutional right to slavery. He doesn't want to stop slavery not allow this to grow. It is a sickness, right? If you're sick, you stay inside and you stay at home. You don't go outside and cough all over everybody. Okay? So he's saying we have to stop it. The rest of the world is getting rid of slavery. And here we are growing bigger and bigger and bigger. So his response to Douglas, who says, oh, they'll never vote in slaves, there'll never be slavery in Kansas. His response is that is a lullaby argument. What does that mean?
Baby, on this list. Put them to
Baby? When do you sing a lullaby to a baby? Up and down. So he's saying that's not true. Climate and voters are not going to keep slavery out of the territories. The only thing that will are laws and bills passed by Congress. We have to physically stop them and pass laws that do not allow for its expansion. We will pick up with the rest of this week tomorrow. Guys, don't forget, essays tomorrow. You do not have to bring up our topic.
How long is it? How long is
I don't want your essay. Oh, yeah. And then also,
Your website, you only have her name and the web. Not the exact same website. Everyone has the exact same website. Like I wanted to use a wall. I asked North Carolina, I can't use this because it's outside like knowledge. Oh, the one I found on Easy was the one that's there's like a million of them. You can find it as a only one of them. All the other ones are one. It doesn't work for me. And it says like I use no, not that one.
oh, right.
I use it. That's a good one. Thank you.
I'm 12 years, and you're talking about 12 years. Thank you.
So it's his last name and then yeah, for like just look up his two different books. I don't remember.
Was it growing up inside?
I don't. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. This is. I think it's right. It says like on the top. But I don't remember where I photocopied it from, so you can't do it. So.
Nice day.
Bye.
Oh, what do you
Because it is
for
right.
the
To the web quest, you're going to cite like